In this video, we're testing 3 safes against real-world theft and fire tests. We're going to show how this $8,000 safe compares to this $2,000 safe. Will any of these safes stand up against a simulated house fire or a thief with a power saw? Or will $30,000 be utterly destroyed? Oh, and watch till the end of this video because we're giving away $20,000 to help you build the vault room of your dreams. So for this first test, we brought in the local fire department. And shout out to our owner, Travis, for being on the local fire team. Because we're putting these safes through a simulated house fire. According to the NFPA, the average house fire burns for 56 minutes at 1,380 degrees. So we designed a test to mimic these conditions as closely as possible. Here's how our test works. We built a steel firebox, put our safes inside, and then filled it with wood and cardboard. And then we lit it on fire and ran our test for an hour at an average of 1,400 degrees. Our very accurate yet very expensive temp probes were measuring both the fire temperature and the internal safe temperature. We tested a $2,000 safe that had a 12 gauge steel liner and 2 layers of sheetrock as insulation versus an $8,000 safe that had a much thicker steel layer on the outside with 4 layers of sheetrock insulation and another steel liner on the inside. Our $2,000 safe was rated to keep the temperature under 350 degrees for 60 minutes at 1,200 degrees. And our $8,000 safe was rated to keep it under 350 degrees for a total of 90 minutes at an external temperature of 1,680 degrees. And the results were shocking. In just 15 minutes, that $2,000 safe was over 350 degrees inside, and at the end of 60 minutes, it was at 530 degrees. And sure, that safe was only rated for 1,200 degrees, but we ran our test at 1,380 degrees because that is what the average house fire will burn at. Once we put out the fire, we saw that smoke was still pouring out of the door, so we wanted to crack that safe open and see what was inside. And the insides were completely burnt, meaning it likely got so hot that the interior of the safe caught on fire and ruined everything inside. In fact, the temperature inside of the safe was still so hot that when we exposed it to oxygen, it lit itself back on fire. Now that $8,000 safe performed way better, which you would kind of hope for a safe 4 times the price. After the 60 minutes was up, the internal safe temperature was at 282 degrees, so we thought it had passed our test. However, our research showed that the safe temperature will actually continue to rise after the fire is put out. And that's because the heat continues to slowly transfer from the steel on the outside through the fireboard insulation. And that's exactly what happened. At the 86-minute mark, the internal temperature of the safe was already over 350 degrees. And by 104 minutes, it was at 411 degrees. And at 2 hours, it was at 425 degrees. And just like that previous safe, we cut this safe open as well, only this time a little more carefully. And again, the insides were completely burnt, meaning that everything inside of there would have been likely destroyed. So yes, the $8,000 safe put that $2,000 safe to shame, but in the end of the day, the contents of both safes likely would have been destroyed. So you might be wondering, why did we get different test results than the safe companies? And we'll share more on this later, but to sum it up, there are no standard fire ratings on safes, which means safe companies are actually creating their own tests in a controlled environment that's nothing like a house fire. And that's why we wanted to run our own tests that much more accurately mimic what a house fire burns like. At this point, you may be wondering, why are we testing safes in the first place? But before we answer that, just a reminder to watch until the end of this video because we're giving away $20,000 to help you build the vault room of your dreams. Okay, so why are we lighting safes on fire and cutting them with saws?
Well, to be honest, we do have some skin in the game here. We're in the shooting sports industry. We build gun rooms for stores and customers all around the world. And sometimes they ask us, are my guns as secure in a room as they would be in a safe?
And most times people ask this assuming that their gun safe is rock solid. But based on some of our research, we've discovered that most safes aren't very fire and theft resistant at all. Now you can get a 6-sided concrete safe that will perform a lot better. But to do that, it's going to cost you about $500 a gun. Or to put it in perspective, that's like $25,000 for 50 rifles. So in that case, you might as well build a fortified vault.
Yeah, so we went out and bought safes from different brands in the industry to find out if they would perform as they said they would. If it's not going to do the job that we think it's going to do protecting your guns, then what's the point in owning that and keeping them all condensed there? We want to look at the idea of bringing them into a space where you can keep them organized, have everything you want, along with the gear that you're using while you're shooting. And then based on your construction, decide the level of protection that you want to apply to that room in your budget.
To be blunt, building a gun room on a budget isn't going to perform any better in a fire or from a thief. But if your safe isn't going to either, then you might as well design a room that you can enjoy your guns in.
Yeah, for sure. We're not in any way trying to trash the gun safe industry or make any enemies. We just want the truth to be known. I have a gun safe in my office because there's a place for it. We have relationships with safe companies, we build products for them, we recommend vault room doors from the same companies. It's just the idea that the truth be known about what it is so the customer has that transparency.
Our goal is simply to create the most fair and realistic test we could think of and put what the industry deems as good safes up to the test.
That's right. Okay, let's get back to the video.
So our goal is to see how long it's going to take us to cut a hole in each of these safes that's big enough to pull these guns out. That $2,000 safe has a 12 gauge layer of steel that's roughly about 1/10 of an inch and should be pretty easy to cut through. But that $8,000 safe is an absolute beast. It has a 3/16 layer and a 10 gauge layer that combined is 5/16 of total steel, and we're not really sure if we're going to be able to cut through it or not. Okay, but first let's address the elephant in the room. Many of you might be thinking, what thief is going to have a power saw? Well, the answer is a prepared thief.
Yeah, so there's two different types of robberies. One where it's a smash and grab, 60 seconds in and out as fast as they can, or somebody that plans ahead and is going to realize a time when the owner's not home and they're going to bring tools with them. Everything that we used, one person could easily carry in and out.
Most safes will do great against a smash and grab thief, but so will a gun room with a locked steel door. Now, a prepared thief is going to come with tools, and it's not unreasonable that he would have a $100 saw and a $40 blade. And we did use a corded saw because houses have outlets, so let's see what happened. In this test, we're going to see how long it takes to cut through two different thickness of steel safes with a $40 Diablo blade. $2,000 safe didn't stand a chance. Our thief made quick work of it, emptying its contents in just 47 seconds. Now remember, this $2,000 safe is considered a good safe and is from one of the most trusted brands in the industry. Okay, now for the real test. Let's bring in that $8,000 monster. All right, let's cut this thing open. This safe definitely gave our thief a much harder time, but he was still able to cut it open in just under 4 minutes. So for $8,000, you definitely are getting more protection, but a prepared thief would still be able to get inside with plenty of time and empty its contents. We've linked a full video of each of these tests in the description below so that you can see that we've done nothing to doctor the tests or how long it took us to get into these safes.
Now, we understand that this might cause somebody to ask the question, wouldn't the sound of this power saw cause somebody to alert the authorities?
Well, not exactly. First of all, how likely is someone to even hear a power saw in your basement from a different house? And second, if they do hear it, are they going to assume that it's a thief or potentially you just sawing in your basement? And finally, even if they do assume that, they're gonna call the cops, and how long does that take for the cops to show up? In most cases, based on our research, it's 10 to 20 minutes, and could be longer than that because cops don't even assume that that's what's going on and it's not their highest priority.
Right, well, I live in the country, so nobody's gonna hear it, and it's gonna take the cops a long time to get there.
Right. And one of our marketing guys also lives in the city, and he hears construction and sawing and noises all the time, and the likelihood of him jumping to the conclusion that it's a thief is very slim.
Yeah, I would say unless your neighbor sees them walking into your basement in a little black mask, nobody's coming.
Right. All right, so give us 2 minutes to wrap up this video, and then we'll announce how you can win the $20,000 in free product to build the vault room of your dreams. So today we tested a $2,000 safe versus an $8,000 safe. The $2,000 safe completely failed our fire test, reaching 350 degrees in just 15 minutes and ending at 530 degrees, and everything inside was completely burned and charred. Now the $8,000 safe did much better and actually survived our 60-minute test, but due to heat transfer, continued to rise until it got to 425 degrees inside at the end of 2 hours, meaning that everything inside would have been likely unsalvageable. Now for the saw test. Again, that $2,000 safe stood no chance. We cut it open in just 47 seconds. The $8,000 safe, again, was much beefier, but we were still able to enter it in just under 4 minutes. All right, so why does all this even matter? That $8,000 safe did really well, but it ultimately still failed, and it was the best non-concrete sided safe that we could even find on the market. And concrete sided safe, if you were gonna get one, is $500 per gun. So if the safe you're likely going to buy is gonna fail, then store your firearms in a vault room where you can enjoy them and care for them better.
We might be wrong, but we'd have to guess that most gun owners would prefer a walk-in room versus a couple of crowded safes.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, the gun safe is used mostly because it's seen as secure and fireproof. It's not like it's exactly fun or easy to use. Who likes having to dig around in the back of it to get the gun that you want out or bang them together in order to store them?
Whereas on the other side, you can build a room that's big enough to organize and store all of your guns and gear in a way that you can properly enjoy them. Some of the coolest wall art that exists are guns on the wall. The other crazy part is you can do a converted bedroom or closet for less than the price of a lot of these safes we've tested.
So hear us out. We tested the capacity on the 30 gun safes that we had, and playing heavily in the safe's favor with low profile accessories and very few attachments, we only fit 21, and that was jam-packed. So for $2,000, you could either buy a safe that holds at most 20 rifles, or you could buy a $900 steel door and store up to 36 long guns using our wall systems. And compared to the $8,000 safe, you could buy that same steel door, but now store 264 rifles. And did we mention that those walls are 100% manufactured right here in Wisconsin, and they're designed by gun owners and built to last a lifetime?
Yeah, and we're not saying that an entry-level gun room is going to protect your firearms any better than an entry-level safe.
Right.
That all depends on the level of construction and what you want to spend on your room. But in the end of the day, if a thief or a fire is going to come in and destroy, it's an even playing field.
Yep. So here are 3 final thoughts before we announce the giveaway. Number 1, the name of the game is deterrence. With both a safe and a gun room, you can take measures to deter a prepared thief. Number 2, at what point does it make sense to build a fortified vault room addition to your home? Number 3, what about firearm insurance? We understand that people have different views on insurance, and so do we, but it's still worth mentioning. We did some research and found that a $100,000 firearm collection could be fully insured for as low as $245 a year. And for those who are wondering, this firearm insurance does not require you to itemize your collection, meaning you don't have to give out your serial numbers. To put this in perspective, let's say that $100,000 collection consists of 50 rifles valued at $2,000 each. If you went the safe route, you would need at least two 30-gun safes, and probably more because they don't actually hold 30 guns, but we'll stick with two. Going with the $2,000 safe, it would cost you $4,000 to store your firearm collection, but we saw that that safe failed our fire test in just 15 minutes, and we cut it open in 47 seconds. So that $4,000 still doesn't get you very far. And with insurance, your firearms will be fully covered in the event of a theft or a house fire, but that would take you 16 years to reach that $4,000 cost of the safes. With the $8,000 safe, it would take you 65 years to match that same cost with insurance.
I think we're at a point where an argument could be made to store the guns in a locked room and take out an insurance policy to protect the investment in the event that something were to happen. Knowing what we now know about gun safes, we're at least at a point where you need to start looking at other ways to protect your investment.
Yeah, just considering other options because as we saw, the gun safes just didn't perform as we expected them to. Okay, so now for the $20,000 Vault Room wall giveaway.
I still can't believe we're doing this. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give away 3 winners of $3,000 in store credit, 6 winners of $1,000 in store credit, and 10 winners of $500 in store credit. In order to enter the contest, you need to subscribe to our channel, like the video below, and comment about what you learned from our videos today. Please remember to check our YouTube notifications to see if you're a winner.
And if you want to enter another giveaway, or you're watching this after the 7 days are up, click the link in the description labeled monthly giveaway. Each month, we're giving away thousands of dollars in modular walls to help the 2A community build the room they've always wanted. To enter, just fill out our 3-question quiz to see your personalized wall and then enter your email at the end. This will send you an email with your wall and will enter you in our monthly giveaway. And if you do end up purchasing a wall or rack, be sure to use our promo code WELCOMERACK. If you use that code and spend over $100 on our website, you'll get that portable rack for free. It's rock solid and our customers have loved it. Well, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and pretty expensive. I kind of thought that $8,000 safe was going to kick our butts. Keep an eye out for future safe testing videos.
Maybe we should call ourselves the Safe Busters.
Yeah, maybe.